of Burkina Faso from Ouagadougou. 5 African heads of state took part in the closing ceremony of the CAMES, the African and Malagasy Council for High Education. They made the analysis of the 35th ordinary session of the CAMES cabinet meeting that was held before the closing ceremony. The session decided to make the CAMES an instrument of solidarity, coordination, and the harmonization in terms of higher education policies, research, and innovation. President Macky Sall from Senegal, Fonya Sengbe from Togo, Idriss Déby from Chad, the Guinean President Alpha Condé, and President of Faso Christian Kabore validated the recommendation made by high education ministers of the CAMES through a joint statement. President of Faso had a talk with 14 political parties, majority and opposition parties, got a stay in Denmark to learn about their political system that is based in collaboration between majority and opposition. Now, they say they are ready to test it in Burkina Faso. The Assistant Speaker of the House says there is a will among us leaders of political common opinion that we share. Benwende Sankara says it is to work together for the stability of the country, to the promotion of democracy and peace that are factors of economic development of Burkina Faso. The visit at the presidential palace is to report the conclusion of the Denmark stay to Rockmar Christian Kabore and ask for his support for the implementation of a dialogue framework among political parties in Burkina Faso. A delegation of the Millennium Challenge Corporation from Washington got an interview with Prime Minister Paul Kabatiba this week. Both parties discussed on the preparation of the MCA project. Some projects have already been defined, and the delegation has come to have an idea on the situation before the signature in 2019 of the second compact that was granted to Burkina Faso. The head of the delegation says they are eager to signing this compact to help Burkina Faso controlling poverty and making possible the economic growth for the coming compact. 3 major projects have been defined, and the most specific one is the development of energy offer in Burkina Faso. ANERE is a specialized agency in renewable energy and energy efficiency in Burkina Faso. That agency and the World Water and Solar Technology, that is an American enterprise, signed a partnership agreement this week in Ouagadougou. It will allow Burkina Faso better developing its energy policy, mainly for having access to suitable energy equipment. More details with the American enterprise, of which leaders say they are ready to work with Burkina Faso.
First of all, it's an excellent opportunity because of the plans and the action that's being taken by ANERE. And starting from the background of our company very briefly, was the founder of our company was in Africa when he discovered there was a significant shortage of water and drinking water and power and electricity. So he went back to Princeton University with the engineers and the scientists and developed the technology that allows us to pump and purify large quantities just using the sunshine. And since then, we launched the company, and that was 30 years ago, and have been doing this in countries that need the help and have a need for pure water and a need for irrigation and a need for solar energy. And we have a partnership with a person from the Peace Corps that had been stationed here many, many years ago and introduced us to Burkina Faso and the need here and the opportunity here. We came a few times and visited and saw the need for agricultural uses and for drinking water and for energy. I didn't have water this morning, as a matter of fact, and I think my lights went out about 6 times in the past 2 days. So it tells me there's a great opportunity for us to help each other, and I look forward to that. We are proposing and working in partnership with ANERE with our mobile water pumping and purification solutions that are powered by solar.
After the signature of the establishment of the diplomatic relationship between Beijing, the Burkina Faso Foreign Affairs State in Shanghai. Shanghai is the economic capital of China and Alpha Barry had a talk with the mayor of the city. Both personalities dealt with the cooperation between the two countries, but also how Shanghai and Bobo Dioulasso, the economic city of Burkina Faso, could tie a twinning relationship. They also talk about the visit of President of Faso, Roch-Marc Christian Kabore, in Beijing in the coming month. Bruno Sidwemba is a former ambassador. He's one of those who have deep information on the Burkina Faso diplomatic sphere of the last 20 years. We met him for more details on the history of the diplomatic relationship between Burkina Faso and Beijing and Taiwan. Let us listen to Ambassador Bruno Sidwemba.
Upper Volta became independent in 1960, and we established relations with the Taiwan China in 1961 because it was at this time the internationally recognized China. And we were with this China until 1973. But between both dates, in 1971, the Peking China replaced the Taiwanese as representing China at the United Nations. And during the Lamizana government and regime, we cut the relations with Taiwan and established with the Peking China. And from 1973 to 1994, we were with Peking. In 1994, during Blaise Compaoré regime, we got with Peking and came back with Taiwan until, 1 week ago, when we went back to the Peking China again.
Do you think it is a good choice for Burkina Faso?
I really think that it could be. Anyway, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Burkina gave the reasons of going with Peking. He did it yesterday. He said that the fact that we don't recognize Peking was a problem for the interests of Burkina Faso in some areas. For example, some regional projects as the railway ring and regional projects as G5 Sahel. We are obliged to negotiate the financial support of the big powers, but not recognizing Peking was paralyzing these projects, because Peking always raised that, they want to support, but they cannot do it as far as one of the member countries of these organizations don't recognize them. And I think it's a reality. How can you negotiate my money if you don't recognize me? And what the minister said is true. And another aspect of it is the commercial side of our relations. As you know, even if we were not with Peking, our businessmen used to travel there. And they used to do it with some difficulties, for example, how to get visas. Now, and if you go on the market, you will see that China, Peking China is present in Burkina Faso. Everything we are buying is made in China. So I think it was wiser for us to make it official instead of going underneath. For example, we are selling sesame to China, and we couldn't do it directly. We had to export, to bring our sesame either in Togo or in Cote d'Ivoire, and our product was taking the label of these countries before being able to be sold to China. So I think it's what we did is to officialize what was been doing, and I think it's good for our business, it's good for our diplomacy, And then it's good for the interests of Burkina Faso.
Capital punishment is no more enforced in Burkina Faso. At the National Assembly, MPs voted a new criminal code this week, and this code abolishes capital punishment in Burkina Faso. The Minister of Justice is satisfied with the vote. René Bagoro says the new criminal code is a real progress in the legislation of Burkina Faso. The National Armed Forces of Burkina Faso celebrated on the 29th of May the 70th anniversary of the International Peacekeepers Day. Burkina Faso is among the big contributors in terms of the UN peacekeeping forces deployment in the world, with 2,300 peacekeepers. The high hierarchy of the National Armed Forces took the advantage to pay tribute to those men and women who are sacrificing their lives for peace in the world. Thank you for watching. Stay connected to Radio Television of Burkina Faso to enjoy your weekend. See you next time and take care.